The name Push to Inspire comes from a belief that everyone can push beyond our perceived limitations and our challenges to fulfill our potential. And when we fulfill our potential, we inspire somebody else to do the same. Isn't that true? We watch someone pursuing their potential and we feel inspired to do the same. I believe that is how one person's story can impact the whole world. That's how one person can change the world.
Welcome back to Bernama Today. I'm Nadia Latif, and as part of our continued engagement, we celebrate the rare disease champions across Malaysia and how they persevere despite the odds. It is my pleasure to introduce Daniel Lee, who is also a motivational speaker, wheelchair athlete and model, to talk to us about his journey with rare disorder. So thank you so much for being with us, Daniel.
Thank you for having me, Nadia.
The condition that you have is called osteogenesis imperfecta, or known as brittle bone.
Yep.
And not many people know about this. So can you tell me a little bit about OI?
Well, OI, or osteogenesis imperfecta, is essentially translated as imperfect bone formation, and it's mostly caused by a genetic mutation that affects the type.
I was born with a condition called osteogenesis imperfecta, and what that means is that I have very brittle bones, and because of that I've been breaking bones my whole life. I lost count a long time ago of how many times I've broken my bones, and because of that I stopped walking at the age of 3. So I remember when I was very young, one night my dad asked me out of the room. So he asked me to close my eyes, and it's like, okay, what kind of gift am I gonna receive? And then out of nowhere I heard a snap. He snapped a piece of wood next to me, and he basically described that as how I would break bones easily if I'm not careful. It helped me understand a little bit more of my condition, but it never really stopped me from doing things that I wanted, and so I kept on breaking bones. So when I got my wheelchair, and the moment I had a taste of speed, I felt a sense of freedom I've never felt before. And that was probably the thing that really instilled a desire in me to be a racer today. So a church saw that my wheelchair was old and beat up, and one day they decided to get me a new one for Christmas. They got me a sports wheelchair, and that allowed me to join my first 10-kilometer race. It wasn't until after 2016's Rio Paralympic Games that I saw an article about Alex Zanardi, an ex-F1 racer who crashed, and 15 years later after his accident won his first gold medal in hand cycling. And that inspired me to think about sports again. So I decided to pursue the Paralympics full-time. And because of that, I resigned from my job, started freelancing so that I can support my own sports. So one of the biggest challenges in trying to become a wheelchair racer in Malaysia is that there are no resources for it. There is no other athlete doing it. There's not a single coach in Malaysia that does coaching in wheelchair racing. So I had to do what I can and learn from the internet. But one day I saw an Instagram profile, and there's this guy named Cillian Dunn from Ireland, and he was the top wheelchair racer in Ireland, holding records for multiple distances. So I DM'd him on Instagram and say, hey, Cillian, my name is Daniel, I am from Malaysia, this is what I do, these are some of the challenges I face. Would you consider coaching me in any capacity? And surprisingly, he said yes. And so we started having this online coaching relationship. There are still a lot of things that is better done in person, but I tried my best and asked any questions I can think of. And so this whole journey, even with an online coach, is still somewhat tough.
Ready?
There is a lot of benefits to having a training partner. And so, well, I've been looking for someone who would want to do the sport. Unfortunately, in Malaysia, no one wants to do the sport. because it means that they have to buy equipment, they have to get gloves that is $1,000, if not they have to make it themselves. They don't have a coach per se. So it's always good to have a training partner because now you're able to compete with each other.
There's also the area of funding. Because I was doing it on my own, I was just freelancing and taking on any jobs that I could, you know, from massage to writing to motivational speaking. And eventually I found a group of people who believe in my vision enough to say that we are in this together. One of them was a mental coach who helped me through not just strengthening my body, my performance, but really my mental capacity. And that made a whole of a difference.
23 was better than the other day. Yeah. And I'm not 100%.
With the support that I have now, it made me feel confident that I can take on the Paralympic Games. And so I decided that I want to qualify for the 2020 Paralympic Games. I started training. I looked at different things like the world record at the time, 13.76 seconds, and I thought, wow, I'm so far away. But I continued focusing on what I need to do.
Faster?
Yeah, faster.
I thought I was slower. 20.69.
Yeah, good.
It's my personal best this year. Still not fast enough yet in the international standard, but I'm climbing up slowly. And if I continue working hard and with my new program, I will get faster than this, definitely.
And then suddenly, COVID lockdowns happened. And that literally was a brick thrown into the plan. Suddenly I couldn't go to the gym, tracks were closed, and I had to be distanced from my friends, my team, everyone that I know, and I was entirely just at home by myself, doing my best to somewhat even maintain the training that I have. I was fortunate because I managed to purchase an equipment that allowed me to train indoors, and this was an indoor wheelchair roller. So in the package is my equipment, specifically a portable indoor roller, as well as my new pair of gloves, my 3D printed gloves. So very excited to be able to use this new equipment. Yeah, my indoor roller would help me a lot more in being able to train all the time, sharpening my techniques and my skill, my endurance. Is it good this way? Is it good this way? This is just how now I get the idea that it should be like this. But month after month of lockdown really took a toll on my mental and emotional health. So throughout the whole process in the year, there were a few lockdowns, easing, and then lockdowns again. And that really took a toll on me because on days that I felt hopeful, suddenly I'm forced to go back home and I can't train for months. By the end of 2020, it was the longest lockdown in Malaysia.
Yeah, so CMCO is happening again tomorrow. So it's probably one of the last days that I'll be out training outdoors. Yeah. So just enjoying the view next to a lake, fresh air, something that people take for granted. But in this time and day, nowadays you have to appreciate all the things we have. For a lot of people, the challenge is income and just your overall mental health itself being cooped up at home. I grew up indoors because I never got the chance to do sports
when I was younger. But you know, now that I do have the opportunity to do sports and do have the opportunity to go outside, I appreciate it. So in the end, I couldn't qualify in time for the Paralympic Games in 2020. Even the games had to be postponed to 2021. And I had to watch it at home. And it was really tough for me because I felt almost like a failure. I didn't feel depressed or anything, but there were times where I thought to myself, if I have disappointed the people around me, that the support that they've given me went to waste because I couldn't qualify after years of trying. But I knew that that should not stop me from still pursuing what I believe in. And so with that in mind, I'm focused on the next 2024 Paralympic Games. The highlights of the lockdown was really the opportunity for me to impact people, whether it is through sports or even my life. I had the opportunity to run a 1-month awareness campaign on the inclusion of people with disabilities in sports, through sports, and in the society.
So this is an overview of our Project Adapt. This is a 1-month campaign on inclusion, on disabilities and inclusion for all. And in this 1 month, there are a lot of things that is happening. The first thing that we are experiencing right now is the Zoom webinars on the right.
So today's workout will be upper body. So everything is a little bit more upper body because obviously it's hard for me to do lower body. There's also a difference in fitness level, so don't worry so much. Also, there's one more thing that you will need, which is a type of weight. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, now we do some stretching. Through the campaign, we have interviewed different people with disabilities, knowing their story and understanding that their challenges are similar to mine, that we are all humans and we face different kinds of setbacks in life, but also share positive moments that we can relate to. With the world recovering, I'm very excited and hopeful for the plans I have in the next couple of years. I'm of course aiming for the 2024 Paralympic Games. I'm looking forward to putting in the work again and recovering from my injuries, recovering from my mental and emotional challenges, and move forward.
David, no, you're almost there. You're almost there.
But I would say that I wouldn't be here today if I didn't understand one thing, and that one thing is that I am a child of God. It was the first time in my life that I thought, maybe I'm not a mistake, and that I could make a difference, that I have a purpose in this life. People may not see how this is good with a disability, but I saw that there is a purpose behind everything. Now I know all of you. Suddenly out of nowhere, I did not expect to have a team of people. Now I call you guys my team. And it is good to be able to do this because for many years I've been journeying alone. I think for me it's an opportunity to impact lives, because I've learned that really it's not about the money. It's about how can we touch someone's life through ours. I believe that my purpose in life is to use my life to share my story, to inspire somebody else. While I was thinking of how I could inspire people one day, this name, Push to Inspire, came to me. But it's not about me, really. I want Push to Inspire to be something that anyone can own, that you could say that you push to inspire to. And I hope that everyone will be with me in this journey, to support me, and one day you will see me at the Paralympic Games fulfilling that potential of mine. At the end of the day, I'm still the same Daniel. The same Daniel who was born with brittle bones. The same boy who had been breaking his bones his whole life. The same man who is pursuing the Paralympic Games and sharing his life to thousands of people to inspire them. So push beyond your perceived limitations and your challenges and fulfill the potential that I know you have in you.